Numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie. I got this you can't buy. Numbers don't lie, numbers don't lie.
We gonna get right into it, man. We gonna get right into it. No glitz, no glamour, just straight up raw, unfiltered, me talking shit about this weekend. This is a special edition of the Crimson Mass Show, PLE edition, where we talk about the PLEs that occurred this weekend, and we were just so lucky to have two PLEs, or if you want to say we had a PLE and a pay-per-view, so be it, fine. Either way it go, we had WWE Wrestlepalooza and we had AEW All Out Toronto. And I'm going to get straight to the shit and I'm going to say it. The numbers ain't going to reflect it. And if anybody knows me, if you want to say it and make it sound political or anything, I'm more WWE leaning than AEW leaning because I think AEW's booking in general is shit. But I'm finna tell you this right now. Let me be the first one to fucking tell you. AEW All Out Toronto fucking dog walked WWE Wrestlepalooza. They fucking dog walked them. Rex, Fido, here boy, dog walked their ass. And I'm not even joking. They fucking dog walked them. They dog walked them. Ain't no other way around it. There's no other way around it. To me, Wrestlepalooza was extremely fucking mid. It was extremely mid. If you looked up mid in a dictionary, it'll say WWE Wrestlepalooza. Some of the booking decisions at Wrestlepalooza didn't make sense. It ranged from didn't make sense to just complete shit. That's what it pretty much ranged from. The night kicked off. They thought, okay, first of all, let's start at just the crux of the matter. Leading up to Wrestlepalooza, there were reports and whatnot saying that, okay, yeah, we want Wrestlepalooza to be one of WWE's biggest PLEs, up there with SummerSlam and kind of like a baby WrestleMania. Let me tell you, if that was their plan, it did not fucking happen. I repeat, it did not fucking happen. That shit was extremely mad. They thought they was doing something big by having a night kickoff with Brock Lesnar and John Cena. Okay, that's all fine and good. That's all fine and good. They had excellent video packages, part 1, part 2, part 3. They had these excellent, perfectly crafted video packages talking about the history and, you know, why the match is important. And then they just went out there and they just completely basically fucking just did a basic John Cena versus Brock Lesnar match. John Cena got in a little bit offense, but for the most part, Brock Lesnar just completely beat the shit out of John Cena, beat the dust off his ass, had kids crying, which I'm sick of that shit too, to be honest. I'm sick of WWE exploiting kids or fucking every time something happens, they zoom in on the kid crying or they show some clip from social media like with a kid crying about some shit that happened. I personally, in all my years of watching wrestling, and I've been watching wrestling easily for 30 plus years, I ain't never been around no little kid that seen the result of a wrestling match and start fucking crying. I seen kids get mad. I seen grown ass men get mad. Petey Stunt threw a fit before many times because of shit that happened on wrestling. I ain't never seen no kid cry. So that leaves me to two things. Either you're paying kids to be actors to cry on camera, or you got parents pinching their kids so they're crying shit like that just so they could, you know, get a little clout, get a little pat on the head from WWE. Yeah, I ain't into that shit, man. I don't need to see kids crying and shit to know that people are sad. If you want to go around and you want to show kids being disappointed with the result, fine. But I'm sorry, I have not seen too many kids crying over a wrestling match. And personally, if your kid's crying over a wrestling match, you need to coach your kid up, man. You need to coach your kid up because there's much bigger shit that can be cried about. Another thing, too, is, you know, I have no clue where this leads. I didn't know if Brock was staying. I didn't know if Brock was going. But now, since they decided to have Brock beat John Cena, I can only assume that Brock is fucking staying. If Brock is fucking staying, then I can only assume that Brock is going after a title. That's all I could think of. But yeah, man, having that as the first match and having Brock win, and I'm telling you now, I'm not the biggest flying and waving the John Cena flag, praying at the altar of John Cena. I'm not that dude. Anybody knows me will tell you that I'm not that dude, but this is the wrong decision. It was the wrong decision. So what are they going to do? They're going to run it back again? That sucks. Are they going to just have John Cena move on? That sucks. Are they going to have Brock just randomly challenge Cody Rhodes for the title? And I'll get to that shit in a second. Challenge Cody Rhodes for the title, even though, Brock passed the torch to him, what was it, a year or so ago? Passed the torch to him for beating him or whatnot. Or they're going to run back to that well again? So, yeah, man, that shit was just completely fucking stupid. And you disagree with me, talk shit in the comments, whatever, but you ain't going to get me to change my mind. I thought that shit was stupid. The next thing I would say is that Stephanie Vacquer, she became the women's world champion. She beat Io Sky in what was, in my opinion, the best match of the night. It's the match that had my attention. It's the match where I didn't know who was going to win whatsoever. And it's the match that was booked correctly. The right person went over. It was just the right decision. Both of those women went out there. They both did the damn thing. Can't hate on them. Stephanie Vacquer is amazing in multiple ways. Io Sky, she's always been in ways and also in multiple ways. But Stephanie was the one that should have went over. I like that Stephanie showed some edge going after Io Sky's leg. And then they were able to, show each other respect after the match. I almost would have preferred Stephanie to kind of be like a bitch after the match, but whatever. I was fine with everything and how it went down. So I ain't going to complain on that too much, to be honest. And then moving on, and there was more matches than what I'm going to talk about, but I'm fucking talking about the ones that come straight to mind. This the Crimson Mass show. This ain't the same shit that you guys used to me doing in these long form content. I'm going to talk about what I want, how I want, when I want, and I'm going to say whatever hell I want because pro wrestling with a motherfucking attitude. Now, like I was saying, back to regular scheduled programming, you had CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and I'll be completely fucking honest with y'all. Okay, first of all, I love AJ Lee. I've wanted AJ Lee to come back for so long. I still love AJ Lee. So that's a completely separate conversation than what I got to say. Overall, once again, anybody who knows me will tell you, I'm not that big on look, I like tag team wrestling in certain contexts, but in general, I don't like tag team matches. And that's double the case when it's intergender tag team matches. I fucking hate them. I don't know how else I can say it. So immediately, I'll tell you right now, I was doing some shit at the same time that the wrestling match was on. And to be honest, I was in and out of that shit. I was looking, then doing my shit, looking, then doing my shit. Because you can't get no intergender tag team matches to grab my attention like that, bro. You're just not. I'm not that interested in it. Love CM Punk. CM Punk is a dog. CM Punk is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Love AJ Lee. Love the fact that when she was on her come up, I knew that she was eventually going to end up where she was just based on just who and what she was at the time that she was being it. Seth Rollins, huge fucking Bears fan, just like me. We're both Bears fans. So I like Seth for that, even if Seth is fucking annoying. Becky Lynch, out of all of them four, Becky Lynch is probably the one I could do without. But she cool too because she supports Seth Rollins being a Bears fan. And honestly, we could use all the fucking support we can get. But anyway, yeah, man, that match for me, it wasn't it. I'm glad that AJ got to get the win. She deserved it. That's what should have happened. But then at the same time, it's it's an intergender tag match. So I'm just what the fuck you want me to do with that? We had the fucking main event. We had the main event. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes. Now, so it kind of was a domino effect. Once I seen they make the stupid ass decision to have Brock win the match against John Cena, I said, okay, what can we do with this? How can we salvage this to make sure that this shit makes sense and make sure that it wasn't going to be dumb storyline wise, because that's the first thing I always think of. And I said, okay, Cody has to film Street Fighter. He has to beguile. So maybe they're going to let Drew McIntyre win this match and then somehow go back to Drew. Because remember, on Friday Night SmackDown, they kind of mentioned during the contract signing that Drew McIntyre said that, oh, yeah, he slayed the beast. They brought attention back to it. So I'm thinking, okay, Drew McIntyre, he goes over on Cody Rhodes. Now you can do a callback, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar. And what happened? Now, I'm going to apologize in advance if this is some big storyline that's brewing where wrestlers are thinking they're getting screwed over. Because remember, AJ Styles had the thing in the ring that didn't quite fit. Penta was saying somebody's trying to keep him down. Maybe they're forming some kind of stable. It's a weird ass stable. AJ, Penta, Drew McIntyre, but I digress. But at least it's interesting. Now, if what happened during the Cody Rhodes Drew McIntyre match occurred because they have a big storyline cooking up where you got this group of guys that feel like they've all been fucked over by WWE upper management, I'm down with that. But just looking at it on the surface, without all the context, without knowing everything, I will say that it was a stupid fucking decision to have Cody Rhodes retain that title. Cody Rhodes does not need the title. And then to make matters worse, a ton of shit happened during the match where Drew McIntyre for sure is going to be bitching about why he got screwed over. And he's been doing that shit for over a year now. He's been bitching. I mean, I can honestly say, thinking back on it, he's been bitching for years at this point. And I just think that it's funny that, you know, you did all this stuff, having the referee fucking come in because he wanted to go outside the ring and count, have the announce team bring attention to the referee fucking up, having other shit during the match involving the referee fuck up, getting in his way, not letting him do the Claymore to Cody's head through the announce table. All that shit is now putting me in a position where I have to be like, you know what? Drew is right. And now it's like, okay, you know how not WWE fans, you know how fans are in general. When you do something like that to a wrestler, the fans are going to start to side with the wrestler. They're going to start to turn on the babyface. Now you're going to get a situation where the babyface is getting booed, the heel is getting cheered, so on and so forth. You people, if you watch the video this far, you know how the shit fucking goes. And I just think that was stupid. They should have let Drew go. They should have let Drew go over unless they're doing some type of major storyline. And you know what, guys? Honestly, as far as in a nutshell, that was it. The Usos versus fucking Braun, that shit was fucking, it was whatever. Everything else was meh. I don't even remember the rest of the match card. That's how meh it was. And now, let me talk about AEW All Out. Now, I'll be the first one to fucking tell you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all and say that I watched AEW All Out Toronto from start to finish. For one, it's too fucking long. It's too long. Let me tell you. Because these are the reasons also why I'm more WWE leaning than AEW leaning. I'm not about to watch, and I don't give a flying fuck if you guys say, oh no, MFG, you're not a real wrestling fan. You don't know who the people are that come from overseas to AEW. You don't know who the people are that come from the indie scene. I don't care about that shit, man. Because if you got it, I'll pay attention to you. If you don't fucking get it, then I don't know who the fuck you are. So I'm not about to watch a multi-hour show with a bunch of motherfuckers who I just don't know and who Tony Khan has done nothing to make me invest in them. I was just telling somebody the other day at one of my 1,000 jobs that Tony Khan, I have yet to see, and the closest person to do it, honestly, is Daniel Garcia. I've never seen Tony Khan take somebody who's a relative unknown, put them in the lower card, have them work their way up from the lower card to the mid card, have them work their way up from the mid card to the main event, and now they're a known commodity, they're a star, whatever. I've never seen Tony Khan do it, and if you think he did fucking do it, talk shit in the comments. I'll listen, I'll respond. But as far as I see it, Tony Khan's not fucking done that. And that's why a lot of these no-name wrestlers that are in here that they're trying to promote on the weekly shows as if they're like a big deal that we're all supposed to know who they are. That's why they're not fucking getting over. That's why AEW continues to trail behind WWE in the numbers, because Tony Khan does not know how to fucking book a wrestling show on a consistent basis. Now, back to AEW All Out Toronto. That shit was by leaps and bounds better than WWE Wrestlepalooza. Way better. Way better. Adam Copeland and Christian, and that's the only time I'm going to say that, because I'm going to call them Edge and Christian if I have to refer to them again. Against FTR. You lucky I didn't call them a Revival. At this point, I think they're more known as FTR. That shit was fucking chaos. That shit was great. Beth Phoenix returned. She got fucking pile driver. Edge was out there fucking doing 5 knuckle shuffles and attitude adjustments. That shit was fucking. Did not care about any women's match on that card outside of the one where Kris Statlander, tall glass of milk, fucking won the belt from Tony Storm. I love Tony Storm. I love Tony Storm. Tony Storm has been a complete, outside of Rhea Ripley, as far as women's wrestlers go, Tony Storm has been the gift that keeps on giving from my other channel, Crimson Mask Pro Wrestling. Man, she brings a lot of eyes to the content with just her antics. Her and Rhea Ripley, they just the goats of my other channel. I love Tony Storm, but I was ready for her to lose the title. And more than that, I was ready for Kris Statlander to get a title run. That's something I wanted, and I'm glad that finally came to fruition. AEW, man, if nothing else, AEW, and I find this funny. I find this ironic and funny. AEW loves to tout themselves as the pro wrestling show. I can make the argument that it's actually the other way around. I can make that argument. AEW is more entertaining than WWE, match-wise. I'll say it. Yeah, WWE probably has the edge when it comes to booking consistency, just having a cleaner operation. But when it comes to just fucking chaos and just some shit that'll keep you watching, AEW got that in spades. It might not make sense. It might not, the connective tissue from show to show might not actually connect. One week you might have a motherfucker challenging for the world title. The next week he's in an 8-man tag team match with people from CMLL, in New Japan, Ring of Honor, and you're wondering like what the fuck happened. That's just the AEW experience. But one thing I cannot take away from AEW, one thing I cannot take away from them is that during their matches, the shit is fucking more entertaining. I like to compare it to football. And if you guys know me, you guys know I fucks with football. You guys know that over on the channel, The League FFB with the amazing Andrew Mott, we do a show weekly called Let's Talk Dynasty. I fucks with football. And I'm telling you now that if you put that in terms of quarterbacks, WWE is like a game manager quarterback. They're going to do whatever the coach says. They're going to follow the operation. They're going to follow the formula. They're going to follow that formula week in and week out, because that formula is the formula that makes them money, gets asses in seats, and gives them numbers. Okay. AEW is a fucking scrambling, fucking running quarterback. Like, you're going to get amazing plays. You're not going to know what's going to happen from play to play. Sometimes you're going to get fucking sacked. Sometimes you're going to fumble. And sometimes you're going to fucking throw a 60-yard touchdown or run for a 50-yard touchdown, because that's just what scrambling and running quarterbacks do. And that's like the comparison. So at the end of the day, you're going to get the consistency of a game manager from WWE, and you're going to get the chaos and the unexpected performances of AEW. And that's just the AEW experience. But in terms of All Out, once again, I can't emphasize this enough. All Out kicked Wrestlepalooza's ass. Kicked their ass. And ain't really no other way that it could be said. They kicked their ass, man. Darby Allin, John Moxley, fucking casket match, coffin match, whatever. That shit was insane. Fucking motherfuckers getting set on fire, people jumping off of shit, people getting put through tables, people necks being put at fucking risk. All that was just insane, bro. Like, and it's what you come to expect from AEW pay-per-views. Just complete fucking chaos. There's like multiple returns. Beth Phoenix returned, Eddie Kingston returned, Jungle Boy returned, Jungle Boy reunited with Luchasaurus. Like, all that shit happened, and they packed it all into that show. But what AEW problem is now you're gonna have to take all that shit to happen at All Out and make that shit make sense for the weekly shows. They're not good at that. So they'll give you a fucking spectacle during their pay-per-view. Like, yeah, man, this shit is awesome. I could go as far as to say, I bet you that 9 out of 10 times AEW pay-per-view is better than any non-WrestleMania, non-Royal Rumble, non-SummerSlam PLE from WWE. But the thing is that in between this pay-per-view for AEW and the next pay-per-view, the connective tissue, if Tony Khan's doing the booking, the connective tissues just aren't going to connect. And then you're going to have a bunch of weird shit in between. Then the next pay-per-view is going to come, and it's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be chaos. And then it's going to be weeks of just what the fuck is going on, and then so on and so forth. WWE is going to be like mid, amazing, mid, amazing, mid, amazing, mid. And that's just how WWE goes. So, well, I know I didn't go match by match with All Out, but like I said, this is the Crimson Mass show. This is my fucking show. I do what the fuck I want. I talk about what comes off of the top of my head first. I ain't going match by match. I'm just going to tell you that AEW All Out was fucking better. I've seen most of AEW All Out, and it really didn't take much for me to come to the conclusion that it was better than Wrestlepalooza. I watched every minute. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't watch every minute of Wrestlepalooza because, like I said, I had some matches on and I barely fucking paid attention to them because they were mid. But it was on my screen the whole time. All Out was kind of just like, okay, not interested in this. Who the fuck is that? No, not interested. Not interested in this guy. Why is he fighting that guy? Just the shit, man. The AEW, I wish they'd trim the fat, but if you tribalists want to do the whole, I'm on team WWE, I'm on team maybe, even though none of those fucking companies are paying you, you could go ahead and say this round was won by AEW. This round was won by AEW. It wasn't even fucking particularly close. So that's all I got for y'all this time. I promise I'm going to try to drop these shits more often. Try to drop this shit once a week, probably right after I record with Andrew Mott. But whenever we have a pay-per-view or PLE, I'm going to try to drop one of these special joints so y'all can check this out. This is the first video I did in a while. Y'all hope this shit wasn't too rusty, but this is what you guys should expect going forward. Me just sitting here talking shit and shit like that. I don't know. Anyway, you know me. I'm MFGDs. Check out our other channel, our highlight channel, Crimson Mask Pro Wrestling. And that's all I got for y'all today. Peace out.